with Trey McLaughlin and the ZAMAR Experience. Am I pronouncing ZAMAR correctly?
Yes.
Yay, snaps. So, first of all, individualize. Tell me about yourselves one by one and how you got into music. Trey, you go first. Trey,
Go first.
modest.
I've kind of always been in music, grew up around it from experiences with my mom as a kid at a local HBCU here, Payne College, and church. And from there, I kind of decided to pursue it in college, higher education, and the rest is kind of history. So I've always been a career choice or path for me.
I'm Azure. And I guess it's just something I always knew that I was kind of good at a very young age. I can remember singing in, with my Barbie dolls, and I'm like, I sound kind of good. I've had no training, no anything, but I did grow up singing in the church.
I'm Arthur. So yeah, kind of the same story for me. I've kind of always been singing since I was young, at least since I was like 3 years old, grew up singing in church. I even remember my mom trying to really be on some like Jackson 5, like real strict, trying to get me on like Apollo Kids. It didn't happen, but I've just been doing it for so long. When I was about 15, that's when Trey started teaching me. And I grew up in the local high school performing group, Creative Impressions, which most of us were in. He's over now. So yeah, it's been my whole life.
And I'm Shanita again, and I didn't really get serious about singing until high school. So it's funny because that's how Trey and I became friends.
Okay.
I didn't like her.
He didn't
at first.
Did not.
Yeah.
Found out eyes, and then was like, okay, well, we gonna be best friends. So, but we're all, I guess, mostly from Augusta, right? Yeah, we're all from Augusta, and just kind of found our paths together, and been rocking ever since.
Okay. Now, what is the ZAMAR Experience, and how did that meaning come about?
So honestly, my kids were obsessed with the Beyonce Experience. My music students, they would watch her DVDs on the tour bus when I would take them on the college tour that we take them on every year when we tour different colleges and universities. You have the buses that have the DVD players on them. And one of the students, a former member of the group, actually brought the Beyonce Experience DVD, and them kids watched that DVD every day on that bus, singing her runs, just all of that. And from there, I realized that I wanted to do something similar to that, but with my own music and my own creativity to kind of tell my musical story, to share and kind of uplift people. So that's how we started. And plus, we are a vibe. It's a whole experience. So it kind of made sense to call it the ZAMAR Experience.
Okay, the purple is a vibe. So I know y'all got to be a vibe if y'all got the purple, the royalty, okay? So so I know that you've been together for a very long time, but you've grown, you've added, you've subtracted. Was it difficult finding your singing style in the ensemble?
It's definitely evolved. So when we first started accompanying Trey, because that's how ZAMAR started, really, he started getting gigs to sing at churches and just in different gospel events. And he would drag all of us with him. So he didn't have to sing by himself. And so when we started, we started as pretty much a strictly gospel group. But say that the group sound has evolved, and the style that we sing has definitely kind of transformed.
Kind of do some really whatever tickles my fancy at that moment. So we kind of go all over, but I will say we do have an overarching kind of vibe. Like, it's still us, even though it may be a different style or like a different twist or even a different genre. we still end up kind of putting our twist on it. So
Okay.
yeah.
Now, when we think about lending talents and using what God gave you until it's empty, do you think you're doing that?
Definitely. Definitely. Oh, until it's over empty. Sometimes
Yeah.
he be having to pull from the negatives. So it's definitely feel like we're doing that. I think it's part of also what makes it fulfilling for us is to be able to do that. And, you know, at the end of the day, we have this gift to touch other people, not just for ourselves. So I think it definitely helps us get is watching the audience go from being like spectators to actually participating in the show. We really, really like for them to kind of join in with us and sing and dance and jam and all of those things. And they sometimes start off a little stiff. And by the end of the night, usually they're completely involved in the show. And that's always the dopest thing, to know people are enjoying what you're presenting. And one of the things that we all enjoy the most about doing shows is watching the audience go from being like spectators to actually participating in the show. We really, really like for them to kind of join in with us and sing and dance and jam and all of those things. And they sometimes start off a little stiff. And by the end of the night, usually they're completely involved in the show. And that's always the dopest thing, to know people are enjoying what you're presenting.
And interactive, for sure.
Yeah.
So are you, what is it when you're gospel, but are you contemporary gospel? What is your genre?
That's an excellent question.
That's a great question. And I think that's why the gospel industry has such a hard time placing us, because I really don't think we fit into any particular category all the time or 100% time. I mean, at the core, it's definitely gospel music. I mean, we're all about inspiring, we're all about the word and God and stuff, but we also sing other things. Like, we definitely sing other things. And we definitely, I'm saying by we, me, borrow from the influence of several different genres to create kind of what we do. So I don't know what you'd call us. Maybe you could call us a coalesce.
Okay.
No coalition, something like that. I don't know.
Somebody said, don't put me in no box. So now this is a question for each of you. What is your individualized purpose for the group?
So you mean like what role do we feel, or
What's your purpose? Like, you know, I sometimes when I'm pulled into projects, I feel like I'm either an extra or I serve a purpose there, something that's beneficial to me, that makes me excited, that just brings that extra zeal to life, you know, that I know that's my thing. You know what I'm saying? So what do you think your purpose is for the group? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I can go. I know mine. I'm big on like organizational culture. Like, so morale is mine. Like, whenever we're on long tours, like I remember one of the first times we went on like a month long, like I'm just big on like keeping the group energy up or finding whatever solution I can for people, whether they're like you said, we push ourselves to the limit, whether I make tea for people or people's vocal cords are swollen or they just need a pick me up or a laugh or something like that. Like, that's just what I feel is a part of my purpose besides, obviously the singing, but like in order to give the best to the people in every city that we go to.
he gets the best hugs too?
Yeah. That's accurate description.
But yeah, if I had to describe it in one word, it'd be morale.
Okay.
So I guess my role, well, my purpose is I plan, so I'm a planner naturally. And I'm very logistical in that regard. So I help to make sure that I guess all the pieces come together. Where as far as like our staffing and who's going and where, yeah, all the logistics. So where we're gonna stay. So I guess my word would be logistics, my one word. But we yeah, I help to plan out the tours, and we all have double duty in some respects.
Triple.
Yeah.
CZ?
I guess mine would be, I guess the fact that I'm flexible and nothing really bothers me. I'm very easygoing. So if anything
Accurate.
changes, I'm okay with it.
Adaptability.
I will
Yes.
adapt to the change as long as I know what it is. But yeah, probably very easy.
Okay, so everybody makes the well-oiled machine run. You have a purpose, you have a role. You know what that is, and that's one of the reasons you're so successful. One of many reasons you're so successful. Now,
That was a good class. Like everybody is
That was really good question.
Now, Trey, we know you are a man that wears many hats, so I know you don't have one specific purpose, but can you name one at least that we don't know about?
Wow. I usually regulate atmospheres. So typically I can walk into a room and kind of make everybody comfortable for the most part. I have had some difficult cases, but pretty much I feel like I try to make sure that things stay nice and balanced, mellow. It really does help to have people like Azure and Art on the team just because they are pretty mellow. You know, Art tries to stay positive. Even if he's feeling away, he still tries to stay positive and keep the morale up. ZZ's very easygoing. Usually she plays off of me. So if she in a mood and I'm not, she'll kind of be like, all right. It kind of calmed down. So that's a gift of mine. And it's something that doesn't just have purpose with the group itself, but also think in terms of the audience and just the entire performance environment. I kind of make sure that there's a level of positivity and a level of inclusivity that makes people feel like they're a part of it and not like they don't matter.
Okay, so y'all read the room pretty well and include everybody so that everybody feels important.
Yeah.
So what has been your proudest accomplishments?
So this is not a huge thing, but when we did our first kickoff show here in Augusta, we sold out. I mean, sold out. And that was a big deal just because, you know, hometowns can act funny.
Facts.
You know, that whole thing about a prophet is never honored in their own town or their hometown has not necessarily been our testimony. I mean, we have some haters now, but for the most part, I do feel like the Augusta community and abroad support us a lot anytime we do anything. And that is, to me, that's a big accomplishment because people don't have to come to your stuff.
They don't have to speak well up. They don't have to talk about it at all, but you gotta be okay with it. So you've worked with so many celebrated talents, mentored under the best. This is a tough question, but I want you to be honest. What has been the harshest critique you ever received that's helped you to perform at optimal level?
This man one time told us we looked like some Easter egg.
I mean, but we did.
We
We did
did.
look like it.
We was some
However-
fly thing in Easter eggs though.
However,
But he said we look like some Easter eggs. That was one I will probably never forget. As a group, I'm trying to think of. Honestly, we received a lot of harsh critiques. I think they kind of roll off. Like it really is not. I mean, feel how you want to feel. I think it's a matter of preference.
Right.
And so some people, I feel like, because we're not churchy.
Right.
We're really not a churchy group. And because of that, I definitely have walked into certain situations with them feeling empowered because I was with them, but also feeling a little self-conscious because everybody else is up there squalling and screaming and sweating and speaking in tongues and laying on the floor and laying people out with holy water.
Hey, what?
And we gonna get up here and it's gonna be a vibe. Like
Right.
it's a mood changer. And I think sometimes because Black church people in general do have an expectation of gospel artists and gospel, because we are not that, I think that has definitely been a harsh critique that was never spoken, but you feel it.
Right.
If that makes
Oh,
sense. So they won't say, oh, well, we don't like that because it don't sound like this, but their whole attitude towards our performance or their body language kind of tells us that. I would definitely say that is one of the most difficult things I've had to overcome, to know that what we offer is enough. One, two, that it's different, but God made it that way.
Right.
And that the same Holy Spirit and anointing that person that's doing all that squalling and stuff has, or is perceived to have, we got it over here too because of our heart posture.
Right. Period.
That's definitely probably been the most difficult thing, is the perception of people who have an expectation and we, don't fall into that category. We don't live up to it per se. That's been.
They don't either. Okay. Just hollering and squallering and lying and cheating. But anywho.
You right.
So now, as for the Opus 3, what is the Opus 3?
Sure. Opus 3 is an agency based out of New York that represent us. They handle our booking. They done an amazing job at just putting us before just amazing audiences. Let me tell you how God works, because when they emailed us, originally we thought it was
a scam.
We thought it was a scam.
Like, these people do not want us. Why are they talking to us?
So for the email, and then they emailed again. So I told Trey about it. And then they called, but it's been a beautiful working relationship, and they're like extended family to us. They've provided us with so many opportunities, and they are really, I don't use the word allies, but they are, but they're just
they're
amazing
cognizant
people.
of what we do, and they take a lot of consideration of what we produce, our product, but also what would make us comfortable. They try not to put us in situations that won't be productive for us or that would make us uncomfortable, really in any way, for the most part. And I really appreciate that about them, because when we work, they work, right?
Right. Right.
Paid, they get paid. And a lot of agents you find are only about getting this money. They don't care about you as a person or about you as a person. And I don't think that their paramount goal is to just make money off of us. I think they really want to further the reach of our ministry and what we do. And also add to us, because when we win, they win.
Yeah.
Facts. I think it's important to have an agency that represents your integrity and your character, if that makes sense. So congratulations on that, because every artist doesn't have that representation, like you said. So what is your creative process? Like, so y'all, you are the core four, not trying to be poetic, but the core four. So with your creative process, you bring others in. So how do you create the music that goes with the whole entire ensemble?
Oh, I create everything. Typically, I hear arrangements finished in my head, and then in rehearsal, I'm going back through what I hear to pull out parts. It's almost like if you were on the praise team at your church and you had to teach a song and you listen to that song and, okay, this is the soprano part, okay, this is the alto part. That's kind of what's happening in my head, but it's also being made up on the spot. As that's, so it's kind of funneling in all together. The visual is crazy and I don't have words to explain it, but things just kind of materialize. And I bring them out and teach them to them. And then sometimes they'll add their little swag on stuff and I'll be like, I like that, let's keep it. Or I'll be like, don't do that.
Okay, so when touring around the world, how do you prepare and present to different cultures? Because church culture is one thing. Different cultures altogether is like, how do you really read the room for that?
Authenticity is key, right? So if people are coming to our show, typically it's a Lyceum series type thing where there's a program and usually a write-up about what they're coming to see. So they at least can have a general idea if they're not already a fan of our YouTube stuff. But I will say, I think we keep it authentic, and the fact that we are not churchy, but we can, like, we know how to do that. And I do feel like there are some places in our show where we do go all the way Black church a little bit, but for the most part, I think the eclectic nature of what we present makes us more palatable to a lot of different cultures, just because we're not coming out the gate Black church, if that makes any sense. So I don't think we've had to really, I've not had to make a whole lot of changes with stuff there. Now, when we do school shows, I typically talk about the history of gospel music as a genre, but with school shows, you can't do a lot of spiritual music, right? I think it's called proselytizing. We don't want to do that, right? And so they ask that we do secular music. So usually we're doing all secular stuff for our school shows. So yeah, that's a change. And we've had to pull 1 or 2 numbers for some things, but for the most part, I think the authenticity of what we give people, I think it touches them in a way, but the fact that we're not so churchy, I think, allows us to be palatable to people who might be a little off-put if we, start speaking in tongues in their face in the first half of the show. So, but we definitely can't go churchy. We can go to your church and do all the things and sing Ricky Dillard and all of that. We can do that, but that's not what the ZAMAR experience is.
It's entertainment and it's feel good. It's a feel good performance.
Yeah, definitely.
And it makes you feel better when you leave. Like you feel lifted and not as burdened when you leave from the experience. It's a real experience. So.
And I'll piggyback off of what he said, because you mentioned like different cultures and different things like that. One of the things that Trey is good at, and that I think a lot of us are good at, is connecting with people even before the music ever starts. So like when we've gone overseas before, we spend time with the people there that brought us there. We learn some of the language. So I think one example that always stands out in my mind, I don't know French. I speak Spanish, but they know French.
Not me.
Well, they've been singing in French. You know, when we went to Paris, before we even started our show, we learned a little bit of the language and we introduced ourselves in French, and that kind of helped the crowd connect with us. But that just came from spending time with the people there. So I think he's really good at that. Like he stated earlier, when it comes to just inclusivity and interconnectivity. So I think that is one of the things that separates him when it comes to embracing other cultures and those cultures embracing him, is that it's not like a superstar experience where they're aloof and you don't, you gotta pay for a meet and greet or something like that. It's like, he's gonna talk to you, we're gonna talk to you, we're gonna connect with you. We still talk to people, from overseas to this day. Like we got inside jokes with them, like all kind of stuff. So it's just like, I think that's a big thing.
And then we stay until the last person gets what they need. Someone wants to take a picture or like a photo or get an autograph or just talk to Trey. He is so patient, and all of our group members are, because we don't take it for granted that you came out to see us.
Right.
It's an honor to be able to present for different people. And so just being able to connect with people before and after shows, it inspires me. And like I said, like Arthur said, we become friends with people that we meet on the road.
Yeah.
That's old school. That's some old school right there. Okay. So y'all, and speaking of touring, y'all are coming through the Carolinas. You're going elsewhere. Tell us about the tours and what people can expect.
Yeah, we're super excited.
Yes.
We'll be in the Carolinas in a few places, but specifically we'll be in Cornelius at the Kane Center for Performing Arts on the 4th and 5th of November, and we're super excited about that. We have 2 shows, and we also have a workshop, I do believe, on the 4th. Also at the Kane Center. So if people come and buy tickets, they'll definitely get to be a part of the workshop if they want, and which means they get to come and sing with us. And a lot of times when I do workshops, I end up bringing those workshop participants up to sing a song with us on the stage. So
It's so much fun.
it's fun. It's fun, and to see how excited people get to be up there with us. And we've had some experiences where them folks could sing too, so we didn't mind it at all. But that it's gonna be a good show. I think the presentation that we have is very solid. I feel like it's very thorough and covers a lot of different things while still being authentically us. But also, I think it is a good experience for the churched and unchurched to come together and have a good time, be uplifted. And you never know, I've had people who were of different faiths or atheists stay until after that show because they had to say something to me and the rest of the group, just wanting to talk to us about how exhilarated and uplifted they felt. And I think that's the true impact of ministry, not standing on a street corner yelling at folks about what they should not be doing. But I think the way that you treat people and how you live your life is super important to changing lives, because they can feel that touch directly. And so my hope is that when people come to the show, to any of the Carolina shows, that they come and leave feeling better than they came.
Okay. And you're going to be in South Carolina as well. So you're not just in North Carolina, you're just doing the doggone thing. Okay.
Yeah.
In Virginia.
And Virginia.
So I'm going to catch one of those shows in November for sure. Do you perform pop-up? I have this question and one last question. Do you perform pop-ups and flash mobs? Or is that your style?
We've done unofficial ones.
Yeah.
So like when we're in the airport and the spirit hits us, and
We might sing a
we
little.
might sing a
If you
little
find the
bit.
piano,
Yeah.
you sing.
Yeah,
Oh, especially in
if I
Charlotte,
find
the
a
Charlotte
piano.
airport, definitely.
Yeah, we definitely singing something if I find a piano in there. But yeah, we do. I'm more low key though with that. I think we probably could do more of that. I'm glad you. that you just dropped that in my shondo. So we made more of that type of thing, but if we do it, it's usually organic.
Yeah.
Like it just feels right to do it, not like we gonna flash mob on 3. So we'll see.
Okay. And my last question, where can viewers follow you as the group and as the individual?
So you can follow me on all social media. I'm Trey McLaughlin on everything. And if you're looking for my website, it's treymclaughlin.com. Easy breezy. So if you know my name, you know how to find me.
And then the group social media is at Sounds of ZAMAR. That's on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. But if you find Trey, then you can find us because everything's interconnected. And that's how you can get your tickets, by going to treymclaughlin.com.
Okay. Y'all purchase those tickets, and when they're on sale now because you started this month or will start this month?
Yeah, they're on sale now.
Okay, and then you're touring until when? What's February?
Mm-hmm.
And
So we'll have a break for Thanksgiving and Christmas after we get back from Virginia, and then we go back out in February, and we finish up in between Canada and the Northeast. Well, the North. So.